Join us in Ethiopia for the African birthday of Christ from December the 29th, 2025 to January the 7th, 2026. A 10-day tour of Addis Ababa, Shashamane, Sidamo, its sulfur baths, and the majestic waterfalls of the south. Plus, the Battle of Adwa Memorial Museum, the palaces of Haile Selassie I and the great Menelik II, and much, much more will be added to this. Take advantage of our 50% discount until the 1st of October. Purchase your package for the remarkable price of only $1,200. Listen to this. All inclusive means your transportation, your accommodation, your security, and so forth. Again, the 50% offer will last until the 1st of October. To purchase your package or just to receive more information, email us at priestisaacinstitute@gmail.com and you will get more information as it relates to the bonus tour to Lalibela, Ethiopia, the land of origins. See you there. Of Gideon Boko, and he is the president of Botswana. And of course, again, he made his presentation there at the United Nations General Assembly, basically a few hours ago. And as you heard him there stamping himself firm as an African, I think he actually repeated that point, that even before everything else, he is an African. Beautiful. So give thanks again for your presence with us, royal family, here in the Tiger's Nest. Give thanks to all our subscribers. Of course, those who are not subscribers, I'm going to encourage you to subscribe to the Tiger's Nest program. And of course, you know for sure, those of you who are subscribers, you will be receiving the program each and every evening as it is broadcast. And remember that the Tiger's Nest program, just $20 per month, and definitely every evening you get this educational journal as such, audio version, the Tiger's Nest. And remember, this evening we are going to be going into that subject area as it relates to seniors, elders all over the world. And this will be a medical report now, gravitating to the use of cannabis sativa. So it's going to be somewhat of a scientific fact-finding agenda as such. So we'll be highlighting that to you. But what I want to talk about is the whole aspect of Rastafari celebrating the Maskel commemoration of the finding of the true cross of Christ that is held up in Ethiopia. Now, we did a program giving you some background as it relates to the history of Maskel and Queen Helena, the mother of Constantine. I think someone was saying Queen Helena was black. I don't know if I misread, or I think someone was saying she was a black woman, you know. And I have an issue with us trying to make everybody black, especially some of these characters that don't deserve to be black at all. Constantine, I'm telling you, keep in mind that Constantine and some of the other fellas like Saint Nicholas kept out the black representative of the black culture of the black Christ, one Arius, from the Nicene Conference of Bishop. So you see, the thing is, these people, they try to take our heroes and turn them white, and take their zeros and try to make them black, so that both sides, they can eat from both sides of the stick as such, both sides of the the bread, whatever the case is, they're getting both sides. So they're coming in from the front door and still trying to come in from the back door. All right, a lot of philosophy there in that explanation, but that's how it is. That's how we drop it sometimes. This is the tiger's nest. But anyway, Queen Helena, I don't think she was black though. She lit the bonfires. She was given the heads up by a mystic man. And he told her, well, the cross is buried somewhere over there. And she lit the bonfire and she prayed to the Most High, and all of a sudden she had the ability to see the smoke ascend. And the smoke literally led her to the spot where the crosses were buried. It wasn't one cross, it was several crosses, 3 crosses that they found. Now, keep in mind that the story continues that Emperor Dawit was the emperor of Ethiopia that would have received not the full cross, but a specific arm of the cross, which is here in Ethiopia. So obviously, you would ask yourself, all right, so if there's something to see, if you have something tangible, a physical aspect to this cross, that means there must be truth to the story. Which story? That Queen Helena light the fire, or that there is a cross? Because there is a cross doesn't necessarily mean that her story and she lighting the fire and it followed the smoke led her to where it was buried. That doesn't necessarily mean that that is not more than just a legend. But anyway, as I said, this is the mystic vibration, and we have a mystic way of looking at these things. And remember, the ancient mystics already understood the prophecies that would come to pass in history, whether it's 2,000 years after, 1,000 years after, 10 days after, 10,000 years after. And this is why when you read your Bible, the Bible is full of prophecies. That's why the brothers are called prophets. When you read the hieroglyphs, although we think that many of these designs are just beautiful expressions of the time, there's a lot of prophecy within that too. So there are even celebrations to me like Maskel, which align astronomically, and those of the ancient times that were ancient archaeoastronomers and astronomers in general, they had the ability to understand the heavens and align the heavens properly with the prophecy and the history that must come to pass. So to me, the finding of the true cross of Christ is Rastafari. Now, of course, you do not want to deny the ancient Maskel celebration. Now, it is very unique to Ethiopia. Yeah, it's practiced in Rome to some degree. Maskel, yeah. Now, many of you may not have even known that because it's not a big thing. It's a minor, very minor celebration and recognized by few. But in Ethiopia, that is where it is. That's why some historians would say that only Ethiopia practices Maskel and Timkat and a few other things. So let us follow this good. Remember, as I highlighted to you, the 27th day of September is a key day for Rastafari because it is on that day that Rastafari himself got that title. We're talking of Emperor Haile Selassie I. And he was, of course, the Deshmark Tafari. And he would have held several posts as it relates to his governorship. But when Li Jiatsu was disposed and Empress Zaditu took the throne of her father Menelik II, it is Tafari that took the title of Ras. He became the crown prince and of course heir to the throne, and he received that title Ras which of course made him Rastafari, regent to the throne specifically. Now, that is the terminology that we use for our nation in general, Rastafari. Now, many people would say that Rastafari would have begun when Rastafari got crowned and became Emperor Haile Selassie the first. But that is the reality, and we understand that. But again, even prior to the King of Kings being crowned, there were many people who were already hailing him as the returned Messiah. This is why Marcus Messiah Garvey could have spoken of Rastafari. Marcus Garvey didn't speak of Haile Selassie, It is Rastafari that he highlighted in Ethiopia as the great leader, as the individual that should be taking us into the future. Now, let me read for you from the autobiography of Emperor Haile Selassie I. And this is part 1 from the disposition of Lijiatsu on the 17th of Maskel, 1909, which is the 27th day of September, 1916, to the assumption of the crown by Queen Zaditu on the 4th of Yakatit, 1909, which is the 11th of February, 1917. And it says here, while Lijiatsu went to and fro between the towns of Dere Dawa, Hara, and Jigiga, I hope I pronounce it properly, and while he assembled Adalites and Somalis, giving them medals and arms, he stayed there declaring, I am on your side in respect of religion. It was then heard that Muslims were mocking, he is neither Christian nor Muslim. On the 17th day of Maskel, 1909, equals to the 27th day of September, 1916, on the day of the great feast of Meskel, it was arranged that the nobles with the army and the Archbishop Abuna Mathros and the Echege Walde Girogis with the priest should assemble at a prepared place with the precincts within the precinct of the palace. And when they had all arrived and taken their seat according to their rank, the following indictment against Lijiatsu, which he had secretly prepared, was read out. And it said, the Christian faith, which our fathers had hitherto carefully retained by fighting for their faith with the Muslims and by shedding their blood, Lijiatsu exchanged for the Muslim religion and aroused commotion in our midst in order to exterminate us by mutual fighting. He has converted to Islam, and therefore we shall henceforth not submit to him. We shall not place a Muslim king on the throne of a Christian king. We have ample proof of his conversion to Islam. And they go on to give the whole aspect of the proof that he would have disobeyed, etc., etc. It goes on to say, therefore, having disposed Lijiatsu, we have placed on the throne Waziri Zaditu, Emperor Menelik's daughter. We have appointed the Dejemaka Tafari, the son of His Highness Ras Mokenen, as crown prince with the rank of Ras and regent of the empire. So it was on that day, the 27th day of September, 1916 that Haile Selassie at the time, the Deshmark Tafari, received the title of Ras and regent to the throne, meaning it was just a matter of time before he became the emperor, and obviously he knew that. So this is why I am always up for celebrating Maskel. This should be a part of our churchical expression, as this is the born day of Rastafari, the finding, let me explain this properly. The finding of the true cross of Christ, because the true cross of Christ is a man. It is like the tree of life. Which tree is the tree of life? You may say moringa. You may say the leaf of life. But we don't know it's cannabis sativa. But hear me good. The tree of life is much more than a tree. The tree of life represents Christ, a human being. The tree of life is the Messiah. When you understand the whole aspect of the science and the metaphysics of it, the tree of life is a human being. The cross of Christ, although the Christ was crucified on the cross itself is symbolic of the man. That is why the black 5-point star, which represents the 5 bleeding wounds, yet still it represents the man. Of course, the head and the leg and the arm and the head, which is Allah, A-L-L-A-H, the man. So the cross of Christ, the Maskel, is the man, the Messiah himself. So when we speak of, we have found the true cross of Christ. No disrespect to the old rugged cross, but we're talking about the Messiah in flesh, the regent to the throne. And although this became official in the sense of the coronation then of Empress Zaditu took place on the 11th of February, but she herself was already queen from the same day, the 27th of September. I'm talking about Maskel. So what a great joy, royal family. And I'm just encouraging everyone to be with us for the celebration of Maskel right here in Ethiopia. Have you received your Zoom link as yet, or have you even requested to get your Zoom link? Remember, we will be live streaming the Maskel celebration right here in Ethiopia 2025. I'm talking about the 27th day of September, and we will be doing it utilizing the Zoom link. So, royal family, for those who want to be a part of that, just email us, Priest Isaac Institute at gmail.com. A few ones have already reached out to us, Brother Adrian and all the other ones. Give thanks. We definitely have you set for that program. Priest Isaac Institute at gmail.com. The contribution is only $20. And of course, you will be streaming with us. I can't tell you for how long, but I'm positive we're going into this for hours, as we will be observing the Maskel celebration live and direct here from Ethiopia. Give thanks. And again, those of you who will be with us in December and January for the 10-day tour, no virtual now, where we will have a virtual aspect, but I'm talking about those who will be here with us on the ground. Remember, you have only a few more days to take advantage of the 50% offer. So I am looking forward for you to contact me. Of course, you know, Priest Isaac Institute at gmail.com. Beautiful. And that was a wonderful speech again from the president of Botswana. And what we're going to do now, we're going to enter into the subject area that I spoke to you about. We're going to be hearing some scientific results as it relates to their research. And more elders are utilizing the cannabis sativa all over the world. And that is what we will be talking about in a moment. Don't go anywhere. This is the Tiger's Nest. Join us in Ethiopia for the African birthday of Christ from December the 29th, 2025 to January the 7th, 2026. A 10-day tour of Addis Ababa, Shashamane, Sidamo, its sulfur baths, and the majestic waterfalls of the south. Plus, the Battle of Adwa Memorial Museum, the palaces of Haile Selassie I and the great Menelik II, and much, much more will be added to this. Take advantage of our 50% discount until the 1st of October. Purchase your package for the remarkable price of only $1,200. Listen to this. All inclusive means your transportation, your accommodation, your security, and so forth. Again, the 50% offer will last until the 1st of October. To purchase your package or just to receive more information, email us at priestisaacinstitute@gmail.com and you will get more information as it relates to the bonus tour to Lalibela, Ethiopia, the land of origins. See you there. Advertise with the Ambassador's Pen and get your message heard all over the world. The Ambassador's Pen is the fastest growing diplomatic magazine on the planet, with subscribers and readers internationally. Constant marketing, daily promotion will ensure that your products and services get the best attention for your dollar. Starting from only $100. Yes, you can advertise with the Ambassador's Pen. Get a half page, get a full page, or even a spread. We can embed your video into the digital magazine. Do you want your business to be recognized internationally? Advertise with the Ambassador's Pen. For more information, email us priestisaacinstitute@gmail.com. The Ambassador's Pen.